Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream and the latest in Chelsea's search for a new manager. What are we now? Day 3 of the managerial search, and things are really starting to heat up. Reports indicating that Chelsea are set to name a new manager by the end of next week. They want to get it done before June the 1st. We're going to dive into all that. The Blues are set to interview Leicester City's Enzo Maresca very shortly as well. It's a three-way fight for Kieran McKenna. Chelsea, Brighton, and of course, Man United have now contacted his representatives in case they get rid of Erik ten Hag. Of course, in the last sort of half hour or so, Xavi has been sacked by Barcelona. He will be replaced by Hansi Flick. Could Xavi now become a potential option for Chelsea now that he is on the market as a free agent? Xavi won't cost any money either. There'll be no compensation, Joe, I thought, given he's been sacked. Although I'm not really too sure how all that works. Chelsea's new owners are determined to find the next big thing in coaching and help steer that eventual manager to the top. We're gonna dive into all this. Loads and loads to get into. The three-way race for McKenna, Maresca. Still no one knows who this mystery fourth candidate is. It's anyone's guess right now. A lot of people still going on about Ruben Amorim, like from what's been reported from the likes of David Ornstein in the past. He's saying that it's not going to be Amorim. Matt Law's pretty certain it's not going to be Ruben Amorim either. But let's wait and see, people. Let's wait and see, because at this point, it's anyone's guess. Literally is anyone's guess. I find it very hard to believe now that it's not going to be someone. It's not going to either be Maresca or McKenna. I think it's going to be between those two. But do you know what? This is Chelsea, and you just never know. You just never know. But yeah, big up to everyone that's locked in, guys. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're new around here as well. I think I'm about 8 or 9 subscribers away from 9.4K. That is being chalked off this lunchtime. Smash the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new around here. And let's dive into the main news from today so far then, guys, is that Chelsea are set to interview Enzo Maresca as the new manager search hots up. Maresca, I'll be honest, I think McKenna did a better job than Maresca last season in the Championship when you take into account the difference in budgets, the difference in the quality of squads. I think McKenna did a better job than Maresca. So Chelsea may have to beat Man United and Brighton to the punch to land their new manager, with all three tussling for some of the same candidates. McKenna is wanted by Premier League rivals, while Chelsea and United retain interest in Brentford's Thomas Frank. Chelsea will also interview Enzo Maresca for the hot seat. Sporting Lisbon's Ruben Amorim and former Brighton boss De Zerbi are in Chelsea's thoughts amid a very open hunt. Blues are determined to challenge targets to prove themselves at interview, but are also mindful of the strong competition from rival clubs. Brighton had the early jump on contact with McKenna as De Zerbi departed before Pochettino. Blues have moved quickly to contact all their main options, however, as a new manager battle hots up. United continue to weigh up whether to sack Ten Hag. Obviously, we know that McKenna was a former assistant coach at United. And just one thing to add on that as well, by the way, guys, I genuinely think McKenna, with McKenna's connections at United and also with McKenna's, openly a United fan, that if Man United were to offer him the job, and he had a choice between United and Chelsea, because of his Man United connections, I think we would be seeing McKenna go to United. I think he would pick United over Chelsea in my mind. I think he'd pick United over Chelsea. Again, that's just a bit of a guesstimation on my part, but I do think that he would. I do think he'd prefer to go there. I really do. But what else is this article saying? Chelsea's new owners are determined to find the next big thing in coaching and help steer that eventual manager to the top. Boli, Egbali and Feliciano were taken with Sporting's Amorim when approaching Potter in September. The leadership still hold Amorim in the highest esteem, but prizing him away could be difficult. Former City assistant Maresca has led Leicester to the championship title this season. Chelsea believe he fits the progressive, upwardly mobile coaching mould they crave, leaving the 44-year-old a credible option. Do you know what the big problem here is, guys? Is that for me, this ownership are far too fixated on the here and now. So not on the here and now, on the future. Obsessed with trying to find the next thing and bringing them up, rather focusing on what we should be doing. You know, this is the problem, guys. This is the problem right now. Is that, you know, it's all very well saying you want to find the next thing, the next big guy. You know, you always say, oh no, we want to find the, you know, we want the Xabi Alonso fairy tale and all this rubbish. You know, they want to find a diamond in the rough, as has been the phrase used. Someone that can change, someone in charge of a squad that has a lot of potential, and then they want a coach to grow and mature with the squad. I think the problem we've got at Chelsea is that because there's too many cooks in the kitchen, there's too many people that have got a say in the decisions here. Too many people have got a say in the decisions, and what that then does is there's a conflict between wanting to appoint a young head coach and then not being willing to see the potential pitfalls that brings. And it's a requirement for patience and long-term investment. So to be honest, the only hope that the new guy has is that the sporting directors and the owners really like him. And I know that might sound like a really simplistic view here, guys, but I genuinely think that it is as simple as that. Let's not fall for all these briefs putting out here about possession obsessed. You know, we get these trendy phrases. I actually don't think that makes that much difference, to be perfectly honest. I genuinely believe what they're looking for is that if a manager doesn't challenge them, believes in their process, then that's how they're going to survive at Chelsea. You know, it's quite clear at the moment we've fallen into the trap, and we keep falling into the trap of projecting a new manager around general, objectively important football ideas, rather than around leadership and personality and whatnot. But it's clearly not the main priority for me. It's really a guessing game right now, because there's very little alignment or clarity over any type of coach that they want. They went from Potter to Poch, which is two completely different coaches, and then they're claiming they want a possession obsessed coach, and then they've got the likes of McKenna and Frank on the list. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I genuinely think, right, they're throwing these phrases out here. You know, and really what they're looking for is someone that's going to toe the line, someone that's going to, you know, leave them be with their recruitment. Do you get what I'm saying? You know, it's going to be, I think it's going to be one of them. I really think all these little buzzword phrases that are put out in the grand scheme of things aren't going to be making much of a difference, guys. That's how I'm looking at it. That's how I'm looking at it. You know, it's a problem. It really is a problem, because what we've got now is that different people in the decision making departments have got their favourites, and they're going to be trying to push their favourites so that they get their guy. And then if they get their guy and it doesn't work out, then other people are going to be like, "Oh, we didn't vouch for him in the first place." And no, there's no accountability and there's no responsibility whatsoever. If you get what I mean, no responsibility whatsoever. Look, Maresca. My issue with Maresca would be, and look, I don't dislike Maresca at all. Like, I think there's obviously clearly something there. He's up and coming. Of course he is. But the problem here is that, you know, by all accounts, it's quite an even split between the different options on the shortlist at the moment. And I think we'll obviously get some more clarity in the next few days. But the big issue, guys, that's what happens when every decision maker has got their favorite, right? And then there are too many decision makers. So not only is every decision maker got their favorite that they want, then there are also too many decision makers, and you end up taking a long time to make a decision. You know, do you get what I mean? So it's a problem here. But as I was saying, my issue with Maresca would be that you know, is that he with an objectively better squad with Leicester almost blew the league. You know, almost blew the league. Do you know what I mean? That for me is a bit of a, I won't say a red flag, but Mckenna definitely achieved more than Maresca last season. I know, obviously, Maresca at the end of the day won the title and Ipswich missed out by a point. But objectively speaking, in terms of budgets, wages, quality of playing squad, Mckenna did a far better job last season than Maresca did. And that's just the reality of the situation. Let's have a look what things are being said in the chat. It's going to be the mystery manager. I don't know. They just put a mystery manager out there just, you know, to, I don't know why, just to spice things up, maybe just to mix things up a little bit. I've actually got no idea at all. I mean, I can't imagine it's going to be anyone left field. I do think there could be a chance. I mean, do they think maybe now that Xavi's available, could Xavi suddenly become the next candidate? Could they have contacted his people prior, sort of knowing he was going to be sacked by Barcelona? I don't know. I don't know. This is kind of what we're dealing with here, people. This is what we're dealing with here, is that no one's got any idea who the fourth mystery candidate is. I disagree. I don't think you go this far down with these candidates. All the noise that's coming out, I know as well. Of course, what gets briefed and what comes out is what they want you to know. You know, that's the side of the story that they want out there. So, like, you know, with obviously Poch going, whatever, no one's going to truly know unless they were there. They just put out what they want people to know. And look, I think it's the same here. But I think with the fact that, like, I don't think you'd go this far down the line with a Maresca, with a Mckenna, if there was no intentions of them being in with a genuine shout of getting the job. Now, I think someone like Thomas Frank, who is on the list and has by all accounts made the final four, I look at that as more of, I don't want to say a smoke screen as such. I don't think so, but he's just there. I think he's very much making up the numbers. I don't think Chelsea really have any genuine intentions of appointing him. But I don't know. I think right now for me, it's between McKenna, Maresca, Frank, and then maybe you could put Ruben Amorim in there. But I still think with Amorim, it's a huge shout. But I think what's clear here is, I mean, Simon Johnson for The Athletic was speaking, I think, it was either on a podcast or a Twitter space last night, saying that from his perspective, he thinks they're looking for guys who fit into the way the owners and the sporting directors want to operate. That's why you're not seeing Chelsea going after any of their ex-managers. They want a coach who is fully on board with the way they want the club to be structured. And that there is the crux of it, guys, is that very few top managers are going to be on board with the way the club's being run now, the way that the structure is at the club. You know, this is a major issue if we're going to be real here, a major issue, because it's not run very well. You know, it's not structured very well. People aren't enjoying. Mitchell is out of the running. Confirmed yesterday, I think it was him and Sebastian Hoeneß. They're not in the running for the job anymore. Not happening. And look, and this is why you see the names that we are linked with. Very young coaches with very little experience, because they're hoping that, you know, they're going to buy into the way they're operating. They're not going to give much pushback. And they can kind of mold them in the way that they want, a coach of their club to be. Whereas you go to someone with more experience who's worked in a certain way for most of their career, it's going to be very hard to mold them to the way that you want the club to operate under your ownership. Whereas with these younger coaches coming in, they feel there's a bit more moldability, if that's even a word, but they can fit that coach around the way that they want to do things. That and that's true. I'm not sure they are fallback options. I mean, we haven't got many options. That's the reality. We haven't got that many options. If we're being honest with ourselves here, there's not that many options. Thomas Frank, no, I don't see Frank leaving, to be honest. I would agree on that one as well. I don't think Amarim's going to come. I personally don't think that. No, I'm not. I wasn't. Yeah, the manager shortlist is not good, people. The manager shortlist is not good. Let's make no mistake about it. It's not ideal, guys. It's not ideal. 100% there on those. There's no point going back over this constantly, but there's no way that any of the candidates on the shortlist are justify Poch not staying for another season. That's just the reality, guys. The funny thing is that all the managers on the shortlist are objectively worse than Pochettino. That's the funny thing here. Like you could be on board with it, with him going, if someone better was going to be appointed. But the reality is, guys, that someone better is not going to be appointed. Someone better. So that's someone that comes in could well be better in the long term potentially. Yeah, I absolutely agree that someone could be better in the long term. But we find ourselves in a situation, guys, where right now the next manager that's coming in, we have removed the manager, not just for footballing reasons. I think more for not liking the way that the club works and the hierarchy and whatnot. And we are going to appoint an objectively worse manager than the one that we previously had. And yet the directors are trusted to conduct another managerial search when they've got it wrong twice now. Got it wrong with Potter, and then they've got it wrong with Pochettino. And yet Pochettino was a result of their extensive and thorough process. And 12 months later, they decided he was the wrong guy. So it's a strange one. But again, this is the thing, right? At least Roman gave these managers a chance to win. He gave them the tools to win with. This ownership haven't given the managers the tools to win with. We haven't got the tools to win the trophies with right now. Yes, of course, we could have won the Carabao Cup this season. But what I'm saying is, some of the player ID has not been too bad. There have been some good signings, but their manager identification, this sporting directors, this ownership and whatnot, it's been terrible. It's been really, really poor. And that you can tell by the sort of the appointments they've been looking at making and stuff, is that all the managers are so different. No one really knows what they want here. And this is it. And now the natural progression from this season to next season is a top 4 finish. But please tell me how, genuinely speaking, I'd love to be proven wrong here, but please tell me how you expect a Thomas Frank or an Enzo Maresca or a Kieran Mckenna, saying it's one of those three. I think it's most likely to be Mckenna or Frank. But let's just go with Mckenna or Maresca, right? How can they have expectations for a Maresca or a Mckenna to finish in the top 4 next season? It's honestly beyond me. Honestly beyond me, guys. I don't get it. I really, really don't understand it. And I think that again in itself is a huge part of the problem. A huge part of the problem is people don't know what they want. We're so determined to find the next big thing in coaching that we're not really thinking about the here and now and how the next manager is going to improve the team straight away, how the next manager is going to get us back into the Champions League. Because 2 seasons it's going to be now. 2 seasons could easily become 3, could become 4. And then it becomes a problem. Players are going to start to want out because what they signed up for is not the reality. And then it's going to become very, very difficult to then attract players to Chelsea because you don't know when you're going to be back in the Champions League. All these decisions have a huge knock-on effect. And that's just the reality, guys. All these decisions have a huge knock-on effect. And that's what we're seeing right now. That's what we're seeing right now. What happens if players decide they don't want to play for the new manager? They're all pissed about Poch going. I mean, look, I think they'll know. I think they'll know that. You know, I don't. This group doesn't strike me as a group that will down tools and won't play for a manager. I really don't agree with that at all. I think certainly in years gone by, you know, we've had groups that have absolutely down tools. We've had groups that have been responsible for managers going. This group is not responsible for this manager going. This group played for this manager right until the end. And I guess maybe we'll find a lot out about this group, you know, whether they take to the new manager or not. But I don't look at the characters within the squad and think we've got those kind of characters that are gonna down tools and whatnot. You know, that's my thought. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the players respond, guys. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how the players respond to this, because they were clearly all very, you know, happy with Poch. They really liked him. They enjoyed working with him. You could tell by the messages put out on social media. So that new manager now has got to try and recreate or better the relationship that these players had with Pochettino. And that could take some going. That could be quite difficult. It really could be, guys. So that's where my concern would be as well. Is that not only are we obsessed with trying to find the next big thing, they're obsessed with finding, like, they want to find an Arteta, they want to find a Xabi Alonso. Why are we so obsessed with uncovering? Like, it's okay to try and do it with players, but why are we obsessed to do it with managers as well? There's nothing wrong with getting an experienced manager in to do a good job and to help you. You know, that's not an alien concept. It really isn't. So I don't know. I don't know why there has to be this young manager. Why can there not just be an experienced manager? Why? Like, I get it, you know, because they know that an experienced manager is not going to buy into the way that they want to operate. It's going to question what they want to do. You know, they need someone that's fully on board with the structure. Basically, what they want is someone that's not going to show any backbone, someone that's not going to challenge, someone that's not going to show any authority whatsoever to any decisions that they make. And that leaves you with a major problem. You know, it is essentially, obviously it's not got the title, but in essence, it's very much a dictatorship here. It's very much like, you as the manager, you are told this is what's going to happen. These are the players you're being given, and you're going to make it work with these players. If you don't, then you're out the door. The fact that there were reports suggesting that even if Chelsea had won the League Cup and finished top 6, that still wouldn't have been enough for Poch to continue it's a mad one, people. It is a mad one. I don't know what the solutions are here, but until, like, it's all very well, you know, they might start like that. They might feel pleased with it and whatnot. You know, oh, great, I'm at Chelsea. It's really exciting. Once they get their feet under the door and they start to find out that things that they were told when they signed actually aren't the case, you're going to have a say in players that you want to keep. You're going to have a say in, you know, recommending, you know, I think that the squad needs this profile. If I'm going to, like, for me to make the team better, I feel I could do with this profile of player. Go and find me someone. As soon as they find out that those recommendations on that feedback is not going to be taken on, then problems. Because as soon as you're made to feel like a mug as a manager, you know, I give it, the next manager that comes in, I give it 6 months until there's some issues behind the scenes with promises given at the start that haven't been kept. You know, I can almost guarantee it. But whatever happens, I think someone mentioned it in the chat earlier as well, by the way. Whoever this next manager is, whatever happens, they have to be here for the next 2 or 3 seasons minimum, because we cannot be in a situation, guys, where this time next year we're sitting here having the same conversation. Who's the next manager going to be? You know, there's a common denominator here: the sporting directors and the ownership. You know, you keep changing managers and whatnot, and nothing's changing. you need to change. Either what needs to change is the hierarchy above, or the hierarchy need to change the way that they operate, because we cannot continue to operate like this as a football club, operate like this as a hierarchy with the way that we are going right now. Guys, big yourselves up. 61 likes. Keep smashing the like button. We're 83 in the building. Big up for all the numbers in here. Not as many as usual, but I appreciate it's a lot earlier in the day. I've got to do it at lunchtime, so I'm busy for the rest of the day. Well, certainly a large chunk of the rest of the day. So we had to do it earlier, but appreciate everyone that's still here. Smash the likes. Subscribe if you're new around here. Guys, 9.4K, 7 subscribers away. Please, if you're one of the 81 that's locked in and you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. Get me to 9.4, another step closer to 10K. Keep smashing those likes. Let's get this to 100 likes, guys. We're on 62. Let's keep it moving. Should we keep a manager which was not working for the sake of keeping it, or keep trying to find the right one? But in what sense was it not working, though? Not working in a sense that he didn't get on with, there were disagreements with the way that he disagreed with how the club structure was. You know, in that sense, not working. But I think you could clearly see on the pitch things were starting to work, and from the second half of the season onwards, we were definitely improving. You know, we can't sit here and say there were no improvements, because there absolutely was. Admittedly, the first part of the season was really poor, but the second half of the season was a huge improvement. And you know, we finished with 5 wins in a row, playing some good stuff, and there was reason to feel optimistic about heading into next season. It almost feels like now that all that work's been undone at the end of the day. It certainly feels like that. But they talk about growing Chelsea as a global brand, and yet they're going to have maybe a Maresca or a Mckenna as the manager. It's a strange one that doesn't make sense. It really is. It really is. It did take us a long time, and unfortunately, we haven't got that luxury this time round. We really don't, because our targets that we're going for. That's why this needs to be wrapped up within the next week, really, people. It needs to be wrapped up within the next week, because otherwise, we are going to be in trouble, because we know that if Man United dismiss Erik ten Hag after the FA Cup final, which all the noise is indicating they will, then, you know, our targets and United's targets, they're going to be similar names on the shortlist, and we can't run the risk of missing out on targets because we've taken too long. And another club comes in. I mean, look, they can talk about Amorim. I'd be shocked if Ruben Amorim ended up coming in. I know Sporting have got a cup final against Porto, I think it is, on Sunday. So obviously fully focused on that. If it is going to be Amorim, maybe some stuff will come out after the cup final. But I would be really, really shocked. Really shocked. We're going to get into Xavi in a sec. I'm going to dive into that. They weren't working. We had a good run at the end of the season. That's what it's about. I disagree. You know, we were the 4th best team in the league for the second half of the season. If you take the first 10 games of the season out, which were poor, we were the 4th best team for 28 games of the season. So I don't want to hear anyone tell me that, it was only the last 5 games, because it's rubbish. It just isn't true. We were definitely improving. We were lucky to get, but I don't understand. I don't understand this. If my gran had will, she'd be a bike. You know, way of thinking. We won those games, and we finished top 6. That's the reality. You know, I don't see the point of needing to go back with all these ifs and buts. Oh, if this had happened, if that had happened. You know, those things did happen, and we did finish top 6, and we did play some good football. And Chelsea would be in a much better place next season if Pochettino were to remain in charge, compared to one of these potential guys coming in. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is at the end of the day. I don't know. It's really hard to tell. You know, you can get on board with a but this is the problem. Everyone always looks at, but other teams weren't good, rather than actually just giving the team praise that we actually did. We did well. It's okay not to like the manager. It's okay, you know, to not think that we've done that well. But let's not make up. Why is it always, it's one of the easiest tables to climb? Why is it always, because other teams weren't good? It's always, this was the reason why. When the pressure was on and we had to win our games to finish in the top 6, we did it. Who cares if other teams were crap and dropped points? That's irrelevant, because you still have to go and do the business yourself. And we went and did the business while other teams were folding and they were coming up short. I'm not sure. Only time will tell on that. Only time will tell. If a better manager comes in, then yeah, sure. You can be a bit more on board with it, but it's hard to be on board with it if you're going to get rid of Pochettino to put in to stick in a manager from the Championship. Ultimately that's pretty tough. Look, United have been shocking this season, but again, a lot of that's down to poor recruitment, and they gave Ten Hag too much say in recruitment, and the fact that they're actually just not that good. They massively overachieved by last season. Massively overachieved in his first season. But they actually played some good football. There were clear ideas and patterns of play there. All those things have disappeared. All those things have disappeared in the second season. No, everyone's to watch. For me, yeah, no connection with the fans is a fair and valid point. I absolutely agree on that one. Absolutely agree on that one. That there wasn't a connection with the fans. That's absolutely fair. That's absolutely clear as well. There really wasn't any sort of connection with the fans. He didn't really make any sort of effort to make that connection either. What happens if the Sporting Directors get the next appointment wrong? Well, we're going to be in the shit, and they should be well and truly out of the job. It's as simple as that. But they retain a lot of backing. They retain a lot of backing and trust from the board. Which is crazy somehow. I don't know what they've got on them, but they really do. They've got a lot of backing from the board, which I don't know how. I really don't know how. But that's where we are. That is where we are, people. I don't know how. I don't know why. But yeah, they retain a lot of backing in the board. Let's move on to some other news then. Is that obviously Xavi has been newly sacked from Barcelona, and that's got people talking. That has got people talking. Would Xavi Hernandez be a good choice for Chelsea? Now, we don't know what Xavi wants to do, but he's been sacked and he's going to be replaced by Hansi Flick. That's pretty much all but done. I mean, Xavi's gone. Flick will be announced to take over. Pretty shortly, I would imagine. Now, with Xavi, is he wanting to go straight back into work? Is he wanting to take some time out after Barcelona? I don't know. He'll have suitors. Will Man United look at someone like Xavi? Xavi definitely fits the mold of a potential Chelsea manager in terms of what they're looking to do. He's done some good work at Barcelona. He won the league there. If it wasn't for some poor decisions in the second leg against PSG, i.e. the red card for Araujo, they would have made Champions League semi-finals, and he probably would have backed them to beat Borussia Dortmund. He's done a good job there. He's got good ideas. Xavi to Chelsea with Cesc Fabregas as the assistant. I mean, I'd be a lot more on board with that than a Maresca or a Mckenna, but let's be real. It's going to be interesting, isn't it? It is going to be interesting to see if Chelsea look at Xavi at all. If Xavi just takes a little bit of time out, who knows? Who knows? But what I do know is that the directors have got to get this next appointment right. They have to get the next appointment right. Big up to everyone that's locked in, by the way, guys. 110 in the building. Big up to all of you guys. Smash the like button. Keep subscribing, guys. Let me know when we've reached the 9.4K, guys. I don't know how far away we are. I think we're six or so subscribers away. Guys, there's definitely 6 people out of the 110 in here that have not hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button and smash that thumbs up button as well. We're on 71 likes, 112 in the building. Let's get this up and over 100 likes as well, guys. Do your thing, people. Do your thing. Xavi has more CV. Yeah, no, he absolutely does. But I, to be honest, I don't really think the CV ultimately here. I don't think the CV is really meaning too much for this ownership. It's more about, yeah, okay, the CV is okay. It's going to play a part in it, but ultimately they're looking at someone who is fitting the mold of how they want to operate the football club. So the CV, to a degree, is almost irrelevant, to be perfectly honest. You know, they're looking for a young up and coming coach. Not many young up and coming coaches are going to have an awful lot of decisions, an awful lot of stuff on the CV, and that's just the reality. That's just the reality of the situation, isn't it? You know, they're looking for someone that fits the style of what they're looking to do. So I honestly think the CV doesn't really come into it too much. You know, they're probably looking for someone that literally is going to be happy to accept their way of working. I think it comes down as simple as that. Sadly, our manager's looking for inexperienced managers, not a top man like Xavi. Well, I mean, to be fair, Xavi's not got the most experience. He's got experience. He was out in Qatar with Al Sadd, and then he's obviously been at Barca. I don't know what's going to be next for Xavi, but it's certainly another interesting option to be thrown into the mix. But I would be shocked if Xavi ended up having any links to Chelsea at all. Mate, Mourinho is not coming anywhere. You know, Mourinho is not coming. It's not going to happen. We know it's not happening. So yeah, the sooner we forget about that, the better. We know that Jose is not going to happen, guys. Yes. You don't know what to do. My gut instinct tells me that just give Xavi this squad and some protection from the storm of criticism, and he'll do wonders. But chances are, I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, well, maybe, but to be honest, I don't know if anyone knows what they're talking about. This is the reality of the situation here, guys. Does anyone know what they're talking about? Anyone actually in the important positions at the football club who are making these decisions? Do any of them know what they're speaking about? And I've got to be honest, I don't think they do. I don't think they do. None of them know. None of them know what they're talking about. No one really knows what they want. Everyone's got their favourite that they're trying to vouch for. And there's way too many decision makers. Way too many decision makers. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he absolutely does. Yeah, it would be. Jose will forever be a legend here, the greatest manager in Chelsea's history. But apart from it being a fairy tale story, everyone knows that Jose coming back to Chelsea would be nothing other than a complete and utter disaster on a footballing front. Everyone knows that, people. Everyone knows that. I'm taking Xavi or Amorim, let alone the other names on the list. Unfortunately, Xavi is not on the list, and Amorim, I don't know if he's the mystery candidate or not, but it's going to, by all accounts, it's going to be very difficult to get him out of Sporting Lisbon. But let's wait and see. Let's wait and see, guys. You just don't know with Chelsea. You always feel like there's a little twist in the tail somewhere. They've got something up their sleeve. You're not sure what it might be, but you know that there's something there, something up the sleeve, something that, you know, there could be some sort of a change. I don't know though. I really don't know. I'm unsure on what's going to happen. To be perfectly honest, really unsure. I mean, as things stand, I think it would be a Mckenna or a Maresca, but who knows? It could be someone else. I mean, look, Xavi could be the unknown option, but that would require some proper forward thinking from Chelsea, knowing that he was going to be sacked by Barcelona. He could be the mystery candidate, but the mystery candidate was billed as high profile. Would you count Xavi as a high profile manager? Maybe you would. Maybe you would. Maybe Xavi is a high profile manager. I don't know for certain, but certainly for me, you know, if we could somehow get Xavi, it would be a big plus in my book, and that would be an appointment that I would absolutely be happy with. But ultimately, you know, what I'd be happy with and what the directors and what the owners of this football club are going to do are going to be two totally different things, people. Two totally different things. But yeah, new Chelsea manager has not been announced. I'd take Xavi over the others linked. I think he'd fit Chelsea. Yeah, I would agree on that as well. I think he would fit Chelsea. I like his ideas. I like his tactical philosophy. I like the way that he plays the game. He speaks well. He can speak English, which is a massive plus. Can speak Spanish, which is also a plus because a lot of players at Chelsea are Spanish speaking. You know, the South Americans and whatnot. So look, I think Xavi would be a good fit, but let's be real. You know, it's not. I'd be shocked if it was him. But would Xavi fall into the high profile billing? You know, of what this mystery candidate is supposedly going to be, high profile. We will have to wait and see, people. We will absolutely have to wait and see on that front. What we also need to do, guys, is keep getting the likes up. 122 in the building, only 81 likes. Come on, guys. This is light work. We need to get this over 100 likes. That's 20 more likes. It's free. It takes seconds, and it really, really helps. And I still need 7 more subscribers. Guys, it's 7 more subscribers, okay, to 9.4K. Hit that subscribe button. Come on, guys. 126 in the building. Please, please, please subscribe. Let's get to 9.4 and keep smashing the likes as well. Let's get this up over 100, all right? Get it up over 100, guys. Please, please, please. Yeah, Xavi works well with young players as well. You know, Kabasi, you know, Fermin Lopez, Yamin Lamal, you know, absolutely. You know, Xavi has a good record with working with youngsters. He's not afraid to put young players in, which I also think is a big plus. Look, Xavi's got a lot of ticks in his column, but ultimately, I don't see. I mean, it's getting interesting now that Xavi's on the market. That certainly makes things a bit more interesting. But you know, there's been no reports at all that would suggest that Chelsea are interested in Xavi or are looking at Xavi. That much is absolutely clear. There hasn't been anything to suggest that. I could be wrong. What? I mean, ultimately, none of us really know. But I could be wrong on that. But I think sitting here right now, well, with the situation as it is, I would be shocked if Xavi ended up as a Chelsea manager, or if he even got an interview or anything like that. I'd be really, really, really shocked. But that is it is what it is. I mean, look, the players are good, but the recruitment's going to be vital this summer. The recruitment is going to be absolutely key to what we're looking to do. Because if we add the right players and the right piece of the jigsaw for this next manager, then there's a chance. And what we have to do is, though, guys, is give the next manager every single chance to be a success. We need to give them the players, add to the squads what is needed. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't know how. Well, Enzo Maresca is the Leicester City manager at the moment. He was Pep Guardiola's. He's been an assistant to Pep Guardiola last season when City won the treble. He's been at City for a while. He won the PL2 with the likes of Cole Palmer and Romeo Lavia. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, guys. It is going to be an interesting one. I don't know, but the summer is big, and we have to, guys. we have to give whoever the manager is the best possible chance to succeed. And if that means people in the higher up positions swallow some pride, swallow some ego, are receptive to input from the managers, are receptive to having things questioned, then yeah, maybe we can move forward somewhere. But I honestly feel that whatever managers at this football club, they're on a bit of a hiding to nothing, based on the fact that the hierarchy doesn't allow for any input. And if you don't like the way that the hierarchy operates, then you're going to be out the door, basically. You either buy into what's being done or you don't. And I think it really is as simple as that. If you don't buy in, then it's going to be very, very difficult for you. Xavi with Cesca's assistant would be great. That would move me. I would be fully on board with something like that. 100% be on board with something like that. But who knows what we're going to get? Who knows, guys? I mean, it's really difficult to tell at this point in time. What else is going on? We will try, but the owners don't. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you say that fans will give the manager the best chance of succeeding. That there'll be a section of this fan base, give it until Christmas, and they'll start calling for the manager to go, because that's what they do. That's what they do. Do the board look at Arteta and say, "Oh, I know, let's get Maresca. He used to be at City, and we can just copy Arsenal"? Do you know what, brother? I know that sounds ridiculous, but I honestly don't think that's a million miles off. I truly believe that's not a million miles off. Rather than trying to do something themselves, they're just desperate to find the next thing of what someone else has done. Do your own thing, tread your own path. Stop being obsessive trying to find the next Arteta, the next Xabi Alonso or whatever. Do your thing. And ultimately, yes, young up and coming managers are exciting. 100% they're exciting. But there's also a lot to be said. There's also a lot to be said that these guys were given time. Arteta's not won anything. They won the FA Cup, but he joined partway through that season. But he won the FA Cup. They've won nothing since then. A load of the Arsenal fan base wanted Arteta out, and the ownership stuck with him. And now they're a title challenging team, and Chelsea obviously want to get to that point. They want to get to be a title challenging team. They want to get to be in a winning team. We obviously can't run before we can walk, but they have to be given the time, regardless of what the fans are saying. This next manager that gets appointed, you stick with him, and you back him, whatever the fan noise is, whatever the noise is surrounding the club. This next guy that comes in, you back him and you stick with him, and he needs to be here for 2 or 3 seasons minimum, absolute minimum. So do I see that happening? No, I don't. No, I don't at all. Because as soon as something goes wrong, or as soon as they get challenged, they'll just look for the next guy to come in, the next yes man, and they'll keep doing it until maybe they find what they want. But ultimately, I think they're going to realize soon that they've gone through so many managers that actually maybe it's us that needs to change. That would be my view. Maybe it's us that needs to do the changing, rather than keep changing the manager. Because the one constant has been the directors and the ownership. The players have changed. It's changed quite a lot, but the manager keeps changing, and yet nothing really keeps changing because of the way that the clubs run above. And we need to see this and realize this, and the ownership needs to realize that as well. Put some ego to one side, swallow some pride. This is supposed to be a collaborative process until it comes to actually collaborating with other people, and then you're not interested in hearing about it. No, they don't. And when you see that in the media, it's just lazy analysis, and goes to show that they're not they haven't done their research, because Bowley hasn't been across the footballing matters for a while now. He's a 30% shareholder. And that's it. And he's more the business side of things. Egbali and Feliciano are the guys that are calling the shots, the guys that are running things. If you get what I'm saying, they are the guys calling the shots. Those are the big boys. They're the big boys making the footballing decisions. It's nothing to do with Todd Boehly. So it is lazy analysis when you see people coming for Boehly. But again, I suppose another issue we're seeing, guys, is that with a consortium, these are the problems you're going to have, because there has to be with one owner, there's just one decision maker. But with multiple owners, there's now multiple decision makers. I know it's not possible really nowadays to have just a sole owner of a football club, because it is very, very difficult. Yeah, but you talk about has no winning mentality because he's never won anything. Well, Fabregas hasn't won anything either. So, you talk about winning men. He's not won anything. But then you look at managers that are coming in. He has won stuff. He's won stuff at PSG. But if you're going to look that's still winning stuff. Won the same at PSG as what Tuchel won at PSG. Wins what everyone wins at PSG. Okay, but you're trying to tell me that he's never won anything, and then you're calling for Cesc Fabregas to come in, who's an assistant coach, hasn't even done his badges. Yes, as a player, it is very different being from a player to a manager. Very, very different. Very different. But look, this is exactly it. There's too many chefs in the kitchen, guys. Too many chefs in the kitchen on this one. Way too many chefs in the kitchen. I honestly, look, by all accounts, there's been a lot of stuff, journalists have been saying and stuff that that Boehly and Egbali have had a falling out. I really wouldn't be surprised at some point over the next few years if Boehly sells his stake, sells his shares, and just goes off, because he gets all the rap because it's his name and because he was the face of the consortium. But he's not a majority shareholder. He's got 30%, and he stepped back from footballing matters a long time. He stepped back from the day-to-day running of the club a while ago. So this is what I'm saying, guys. But it's lazy analysis when people just go at Boehly just because he's the face of the consortium without actually doing it. I don't know. I think Cesca's got a lot about him, but look, it's impossible to tell how good someone's going to be as a manager when he's been an assistant coach for one season. Yes, he could be good, but again, you've got absolutely no idea how good a manager Cesc Fabregas is going to be. This is the thing. Everyone goes on about these young managers. Yeah, they've done some good things in their careers to date, but no one knows how good they're going to be. This is what I mean when you sign these youngsters like an Estevao or a Kendry Páez. They could be showing loads of promise. No one knows how good they're going to be. No one, absolutely no one knows how good these guys are going to be. So, this is what we're dealing with here, people. This is what we're dealing with. You're taking huge gambles, huge gambles. I think Matisse gave a great analogy on this. Let me see if I can find it. He gave a great analogy on about people say Pep went from Barcelona B to the manager he is today. I say the richest man in the world started his business from his garage. The other 10 million people who tried that are now either homeless or divorced. Those are the percentages Chelsea are playing with. It's true. It is absolutely true. We are playing with such big margins. You could get lucky and you could be lucky and you could strike gold. The chances are you'll just end up looking for another manager in 12 months' time. That's the reality for me. Yeah, of course. If it was a choice of Amorim or McKenna, then yeah, I would rather McKenna. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I just don't see how Amorim. I just can't see Amorim coming, to be perfectly honest. But look, I could be wrong, guys. I could be wrong on that one. I really could be, but and I'd be happy to be pleasantly wrong on that, guys. 3 more likes to 100. Come on, people. 3 more likes, 134 in the building. Big up to every single one here. Get those likes up, guys. 98 likes now, up over 100. Let's keep doing our thing, people. Get it over 100. And guys, I'm still looking for 6 more subscribers. What's going on? 6 more subscribers. So make sure you subscribe. There's definitely 6 in here that haven't hit the subscribe button. There's 134 in the building. Guys, get me to 9.4K. Come on, people. Come on, guys. Let's get this done. I think we will be the next Liverpool and wait 30 years before we win the Premier League. I mean, I wouldn't go to that many extremes, but well, Pep from the beginning had Puyol, Xavi, Iniesta, and Messi. And again, this is another point. You know, the tools you have make a big difference. You could not be the most experienced manager, and you can definitely be learning on the job. But I tell you what, if you've got some of the best tools there are, it makes things a damn sight easier. If you've got some good tools. I literally didn't say that. Literally said if I had a choice between them, I'd have Amorim. I'm not sure. Maybe you misheard, but I definitely didn't say that I'd rather have McKenna than Amorim. I would rather have Amorim, of course. But I was just saying that I don't think Amorim is very likely to happen in my view. But you know, I could be wrong on that. But yeah, look, experience or not as a manager, right, is can sometimes neither be here nor there. Ultimately, it's the tools at your disposal that are going to make a big difference. Yeah, of course, you need to know what you're doing and stuff. You need to have a little bit about you. But I tell you what, having the best tools and having the best players, that can't half bail you out when you're a young and inexperienced manager. That can really help you out. And you know, I think that's what's happened with Pep to a degree at Barca. Of course, he's a special manager, but certainly when you're starting out. So yeah, you know, it's that makes a difference. And I think, look, Chelsea have got the tools. There are some good tools there. That they need refining. You know, no, but that's exactly it. That is exactly what the crux of this is that the reason why we're not going for experienced managers, and they can paint it as, well, they want to find the young up and coming coach, you know, and help them grow through the club. All that can be briefed and put out. But the biggest reality is as to why they want a young up and coming manager is because they want someone that they feel is not going to challenge them. That's the biggest thing at the end of the day. They want someone in that is going to fully be on board and buy into what they're doing. Simple as that. Literally is as simple as that, guys. It couldn't be any clearer. You know, it really couldn't be. Bayern must be screwing. They could have had Xavi if they'd waited a week. Now they've got company. I mean, I don't know if they would have gone for Xavi, to be perfectly honest. But look, it's a great gig for company, by the way. But let's make no mistake about it. He's probably about their 10th choice. All the managers they got pied by. You know, it's great for him. I'll be interested to see how he does, because the company is well regarded within the game. He's got some good principles and whatnot. He's going to have much better tools to work with now. Let's see what he can do when he's there. Mate, no one's going to turn up to that 2 p.m. end of the season on a bank holiday Sunday. Literally, no one's going to go to that, and it's a complete waste of time and pointless. No one's going to that. I mean, yeah, regrettably so. I think that's exactly what they're looking for. again, I totally disagree when people say they're not here to win. The quickest way to make money is by winning. So I fundamentally disagree that these guys don't want to win. They absolutely do want to win, but they want to do it in a very, very specific way, which doesn't really seem to be working. Egbardi run us into the ground. Hopefully not. Asking a championship manager to get top 4 when the squad is like it is just mental. I would agree. I would absolutely agree on that. Absolutely agree on that. But this is what we're dealing with right now. This is what we're dealing with, guys, and it's a problem. It is absolutely a problem. So, mate, you'd be lucky to get 10. You'll be lucky to get 10. They're not going to get any. They're going to get absolutely none. It will get 0 coverage. It will do nothing. It will do absolutely nothing. Don't think if they get the manager they're looking for, eventually they'll give this manager control. No, because I don't think they're those sorts of they're that sort of people. Maybe if they can see that a manager's doing well, they might be prepared to give a bit more control. But I think certainly for at least a couple of seasons, it's going to be a problem. It's absolutely going to be a problem in my view. Yeah, Ted Lasso could well be Ted Lasso. Maybe he's a mystery candidate. This is exactly that. That they're using a manager to deflect all the blame off them. That is exactly what they're doing, guys. That is exactly what they're doing. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a human shield to cover up for their deficiencies. And they won't think twice about throwing a manager under the bus or, that sort of thing. They're not. That is absolute nonsense. No, thousands of people are not going. There'll be no one there. These little Twitter protests are pathetic. There was something they tried to organize. Someone tried to organize something before, and it got about 3 people turn up. It's not happening. If there's more than 10 people there, I would be absolutely staggered, and it's going to achieve nothing. What are they going to do? Just stand there with a few shitty signs? I mean, then there's no one at the club. It literally makes no sense. Well, it could have been if he wasn't at Crystal Palace and he's just joined there. So yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen either. But we are where we are, guys. I don't think we'll get top 4 next season. The manager we're linked with. Look, I'd love to be proven wrong, but I agree. I think that could look. I think that's going to look quite difficult. I really do. It's a problem though, isn't it? Because I just look at it and I think having it's clearly a mess right now. What's going on with, as I said, with the different candidates and whatnot, and different people in the decision making process having different favourites. A lot of people think differently internally. Some want this, some want that. No one knows if there's actually a 4th man on the list as well, or that's just a bit of a smokescreen. No one seems to know who it is. And I think it's clear as well that Mckenna absolutely wants to wait for Chelsea recalled Cassidy. Chelsea are going to recall. Chelsea recalled Cassidy. Maresca didn't send him back. Cassidy was recalled by Chelsea because Poch wanted a physical midfielder in January. They didn't sign one. They just recalled Cassidy. Maresca didn't send him back. No. Am I going to any more races? I went to Qatar last year in October. Maybe towards the end of the season. Yes, quite possibly. Yeah, if you're going to do something properly, you need a supporters group on side with you. You absolutely need a supporters group on side with you if you're going to get anywhere. That is what you need, guys. 100% what you need. Still 117 in the building, people. Big up to every single one of you. 112 likes. Keep smashing that like button. Let's get it up to 120. Let's get this to 120. And guys, just 2 subscribers away from the big 9.4K now. 120 in the building. 2 more subscribers. Come on, guys. There's 2 more of you in here. Definitely 2 of you in here that aren't subscribed. Hit the subscribe button, guys. Get me to 9.4. Owners are the gaffer. Yep, pretty much. Plot twist, mystery candidate is the new computer, supercomputer Chelsea GPT, and we welcome the first club run by AI. Yeah, you never know. I mean, Potter looks good. Potter was at the LMA Manager Awards, and he's looking good, guys. He's looking good. So yeah, but again, as I said, guys, the problem is people. Having multiple people is never a good thing because they're never all going to agree on it. They're never all going to agree on it. Too many cooks in the kitchen at Chelsea. But I guess, look, there'll be conversations taking place today, I'm sure, maybe over the weekend. I wouldn't really expect to hear anything concrete until into next week. That manager was not great at Leicester with the highest wage bill. I mean, look, Maresca he didn't do a shit job. But, you know, when you take into consideration that they basically had the Premier League squad minus Maddison and a couple of others, they made some good additions. It wasn't like he didn't do an amazing job. I think there's something about him. I think there's something there. But if it was down to me, I'd rather have Mckenna because I think he's got a bit more about it. Yeah, but that's very different. That was very different because the fans were already there at the ground. That wasn't an organized thing. That just happened. It was on a game day, so there was already thousands of people there. You know, so that's very different. Isn't rejected. He just hasn't accepted it yet. I think he's holding out for Red Bull. Sainz won't go to Mercedes, but he's holding out to see what happens with Red Bull. Otherwise, I think he probably will sign that Audi deal. That Audi deal's on the table. So if he wants to sign, he'll sign. What else have we got going on? I just want to go through a tiny bit of transfer news, guys, and then I'll round this one out. Some of the Chelsea fans are the club's problem. We need to have patience with whoever comes in at least 2 seasons. If we are frustrated with all this, much less for the... Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. You know, some fans have got no patience. No patience. I don't think it's because Poch left. I think it's more the way the club's being run, but it's not going to do anything. Yeah, I don't want to belittle Maresca's achievements because his first season as a full manager, I think he did a decent job. I think he absolutely did a decent job. The right coach, these players can get the top 4. The squad's good enough for the top 4. It is good enough for the top 4. But how do we know that he's like 8th place? If a coach comes 8th next season and wins a cup, he's not in the job. It's going to be, they need to get into the Champions League. That's the reality. I'm kind of hopeful Lando Norris will get offered a contract by Red Bull. Yeah, it would be nice, but I don't think it's going to happen. Fans living in London should join the protest. I'm not able to imagine the future. We are an elite club and eliteness is fading away. Look, this protest is not going anywhere. Yes. Guys, last little thing I'm going to go through is this little news here. Is that sadly, it looks like Trevor Chalobah will be leaving the club. Fabrizio Romano is saying that Chelsea will sign 1 or 2 centre-backs and they will have to get rid of Chalobah for financial fair play. So, yeah, that's where we're at. It looks like Chalobah will be going and Chelsea are going to sign 1 or 2. They're going to sign 1 or 2 centre-backs. Well, Poch would have won something if the players could finish in the Carabao Cup final. We would have won that. we don't need more centre-backs. But obviously, yeah, Chalobah's going to be going. I think Fabrizio, at least we're not lying about this. At least they're briefing out that, you know, he's going for financial fair play reasons. They're not going, oh, like he wouldn't accept the offer and whatnot. Yeah, you know, at least they're being honest about this. But it's a disgrace that Chalobah is having to go for nothing to do with footballing reasons, nothing whatsoever. He's arguably Chelsea's best centre back this season, in my opinion. And we're going to lose him for pennies. Again, he wasn't sacked. He was like, by all accounts, he wanted out just as much as any decision makers. And you know, I'll tell you what, whoever comes in is going to be a worse manager than Pochettino. We're not getting a better manager than Pochettino in the next appointment. That's just the reality, guys. We're not getting a better manager than Poch. Chalobah is a top player for us. You know, you only need to see how well he's done this season to know that we shouldn't be getting rid of him. You know, if he wasn't pure profit, he wouldn't be going anywhere. He's literally being sold for financial reasons. It's got nothing to do with football. And, you know, it's a ridiculous, extra time, I agree. But in normal time, it's not his fault that those players missed a load of chances that would have won us the game. That's not his fault. Extra time, I absolutely agree. But the missed chances are not his fault. He's not on the pitch. We had more than enough chances to win that game in the 90 minutes. But yeah, it's a real shame that Chalobah's going. I can't deny it. It's a real shame. But yeah, hopefully he backs himself. He fights. You know, he stands his ground. He's got 4 years left on his contract. He doesn't need to go anywhere. You know, and let's hope. Let's hope they do. Let's hope that he stays his ground, turns down any moves, and he sticks out. He's got 4 years on the contract. He doesn't need to leave. So let's hope that he stays. Let's hope that he stays. But yeah, anyway, looks like he's going to be on his way out. But I'm sure we'll get more news on that throughout the summer. I don't think we're going to get too much transfer news in regards to players until the managerial situation gets sorted out. But yeah, guys, I've got to shoot now. Big up to every single one of you that is tuned in this afternoon. Appreciate the big numbers again, as always. Friday lunchtime, don't normally stream at this time, but I've got a few bits and pieces to take care of this afternoon. If any major news breaks in through the course of the evening, I'll be back later on. If not, guys, I'll catch you again tomorrow. Tomorrow, probably a similar time, maybe around midday, 1 o'clock. Probably, around midday tomorrow, guys. So again, I'll catch you later tonight if there's any major news. If not, I will catch you lot tomorrow, midday or 1 o'clock. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, guys, smash the likes on the way out. Subscribe if you're new around here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Up the Chelsea and peace out.